again everyone, it's me. It's actually Easter day for me now. I know that I'll be uploading this tomorrow, so it'll be Easter Monday for you. But happy Easter all the same. Hope you've been doing lots of Eastery things, having loads of eggs. I painted my nails so that they're all Eastery. So I've got some Easter egg patterns and a little chicken there. Have you been doing any Easter arts? Let me know if you have, I'd love to see it. Okay, so let's carry on with the Creakers. We've just left off with Norman and Lucy have set their trap for the Creakers and have left Ella right in the middle of the floor ready to be captured by the Creakers. So, chapter 11, Catching Creakers. Lucy and Norman lay very still, silently pretending to sleep as they listened out for the first signs of a creaker. Ella remained sitting on her spot on the floor, too scared to move, too scared to sleep. She just sat there, wishing for the sun to come up and for this scary, spooky night to be over. The perfect creek bait. There was no way Lucy was going to fall asleep tonight, not with the risk of losing her dad's jacket to a bunch of creepy creatures from under the bed. As she stared at the inside of her wardrobe, and her eyes adjusted to the dark, she began to see things inside. Her second and third favourite pairs of dungarees hanging overhead, her shoes piled in the corner. And then something else caught her eye. Some writing on the inside of the door. It was a chart measuring her height over the years. Of course, it was right there every time she opened the wardrobe, but it was one of those things that she had seen so often it had become invisible to her. Now that she had time to really look at it, she realised how amazing it was to see how small she'd once been, and how much she'd grown. As she studied it in the thin crack of light coming in through the slightly open door, she realised that it was what was so special about it. Scribbled with a marker pen next to the chart was the word Lucy. And Lucy recognised her dad's handwriting, the distinctive way he wrote his Y's with the extra loop in the tail. Her heart fluttered a little seeing this piece of her dad that she had forgotten was there. She couldn't remember when the chart had started. She squinted in the dim light and looked at the lowest markings on the chart close to her feet. The words age 2 and 7 months were written there in her mum's neat handwriting. As her name moved higher and higher up the door and the ages next to it grew older, Lucy spotted something right near the top. There was some more writing way up high, far too high to be Lucy's height. Carefully and quietly she stood up in the wardrobe to get a better look. As she got closer she could read the words Mum, age 32, and a little further up was Dad, age 34. Lucy had a sudden, unexpected feeling. Her whole body felt warm and safe, like she was being hugged. Just seeing the words Mum and Dad written in her parents' handwriting brought back those feelings that only families can give to each other. She felt comforted, and for a moment snug in the wardrobe, as though somehow the grown-upless world outside didn't exist. Like her family was back together again, the three of them right there in the wardrobe. Her happy moment was interrupted by the chiming of the clock tower, echoing across Whiffington, announcing the hour. Must be getting late, thought Lucy as she counted the chimes. 3 in the morning already, she thought. That went fast. And that was when she heard it. Not a creak, but a yawn. It was Ella. Lucy peered out of the crack in the wardrobe door and saw Ella stretching sleepily before rubbing her tired eyes. Obviously our scary Creaker story wasn't scary enough to keep Ella awake all night, she thought. Then Lucy heard something else. Another yawn. This time it was Norman. That useless boy, Lucy thought, watching him snuggle comfortably down in her bed and start snoozing on her pillow. But Lucy had the feeling that something wasn't quite right. She peeped out of her hiding place in the wardrobe again and saw the most astonishing thing. A faint cloud of golden dust was wafting across her room, settling over the eyes of Ella and Norman as it floated by. Lucy's heart stopped. Ella and Norman weren't falling asleep, they were being sent to sleep. She watched the dust settle into the corners of their eyes as they drifted deeper into a hypnotic slumber. Then Lucy realised that Ella and Norman's sleepy eyes weren't the only eyes she could see. They were there. 4 pairs of beady black eyeballs were lurking in the shadows beneath her bed, staring out. Lucy froze inside the wardrobe. But the eyes weren't looking at Lucy. They hadn't seen her yet. They were looking at Ella wrapped up in the jacket, and all that deliciously rotten bits of rubbish scattered temptingly around the room. "Baby, a good and dozing now," croaked a voice from the darkness. "Dozy dust always be working a treat." "Them kidlings not be waking up for a long time this night," grunted another. "Stupid girl brung her weedy little boy with her. Oh, look, it's tidy kiddling from across the walk. He won't be doing her no help." They all laughed. This is good, Lucy thought. The Creakers thought that Ella curled up in front in the fluorescent jacket was her, just as she and Norman had planned. "Come on, let's be getting a stinkering coat," hissed another. With that, Lucy saw movement in the shadows. Her tummy was full of fluttery wobbles. Her mouth dropped open in shock, and goosebumps pimpled down both arms, and the hairs at the back of her neck stood up as the 4 Creakers crept out of the blackness, as she caught sight of them for the very first time. Their skin was as black as treacle, and shimmered with sticky wetness like repulsive flesh of a slug. They had veiny ears that looked like rotten cabbage leaves, and long pointy claws which seemed to click across the floor like spiders' legs as they crept. Each of them dragged a rotten tail behind them, which looked like mouldy brown banana skin. One by one they stood up, revealing their full rottenness. Their heads were just high enough to poke over the side of Lucy's bed. Lucy squinted in the dimness. From her hiding spot inside the cupboard, she could see them properly. One of them was freckled with boils and pus-filled spots along its gangly arms. Another's sticky skin had dry, flaky patches peeling off, reminding Lucy of the time she got sunburnt on holiday. The chubbiest one had matted, waxy hair poking out of its oversized ears, and a belly like a small round cannonball. The last one to emerge from the dark had a layer of spikes on its back, like uncut fingernails poking out in every direction. And there they all are. Disgusting Creakers. Can you match up the description to each one? Not sure I'd want to see them crawling around my room. This one was their leader. Lucy could tell by the way the rest creaked out of his way as he crept along the wooden floorboards and into her room. The sight of them made Lucy gag. They were the most hideous things she had ever seen, but their disgustingness was only just beginning. "Ooh, look at this," a flabby round one said, holding out a rotten slice of pizza with fluffy green mould oozing from the crust. Norman had salvaged it from the rubbish truck earlier on, thinking it'd be a great Creaker bait. He was right, Lucy thought, pulling a face as the Creaker gave it a greedy sniff. "Put it down, Guff. We're here for this night. We're here for one thing this night," hissed the leader. Guff? What an awful name, Lucy thought. Guff let out an awful, gassy bottom burp from his little fat bum, and Lucy realised how he got his name. And there he is, there's Guff. "But Grunt, looks at all the treasures the room be covered nice and rotten," said Guff, looking at the trail laid out across the floor. Grunt, that's even worse name than Guff, thought Lucy. But Grunt, the one with the prickly nails on his back and rotten scowl on his face, seemed to suit his name too. "Guff's right. We better take this stinkerin' stuff. It'd be too good to waste," blurted one with horrid boils, interrupting the one with flaky skin. Don't speak when I'm speakerin'. Sniff, you rotten twizzle. Sorry, Scratch. Sorry, I forgets every time, Sniff said with a nervous chuckle. Scratch, Sniff, be quiet, huffed Grunt. Grunt, Guff, Scratch and Sniff. Lucy repeated their names to herself in her head. They were repulsive names for repulsive creatures. Fine, if you wants the rubbish, we better be creaking swift and quickly, Grunt said. And with those words, the 4 Creakers began doing the grossest, most peculiar thing. They stretched out their stinky, wet arms and legs and began rolling around the room. As they rolled over the oozing pizza slices, the empty cereal boxes, the old sandwich crusts and every single dirty sock, the leftovers from dinner and every disgusting bit of rubbish, Lucy saw it all start sticking to their slimy skin. When they finally stopped rolling and stood up, the floor was clean and the Creakers were covered from head to toe. It was the strangest thing Lucy had ever witnessed. 4 odd little creatures coated in litter and rubbish. And there they all are, rolling around the room. Bits of rubbish can you see stuck to them? Grunt, Guff, Scratch and Sniff looked at each other and saw how completely covered they were in the mess. Then one by one they started laughing. Now, Creakers don't laugh like you and I do. They come from a backwards world where right is wrong, where good is bad, where laughter sounds more like the wailing of a newborn baby. They howled for nearly 5 minutes, reveling in the splendid rottenness of their find. And just as Lucy started to wonder if their laughter might wake up Ella and Norman, Sniff reached his oily back claw and into a pouch tied around his neck, pulled out a pinch more of their golden dust. Just to be safe, Sniff said, and he blew the dozy dust into the air, where it floated like crumbly magic into the corners of Ella and Norman's sleepy eyes once again. No chances of them stopping us this time, Sniff added, before snorting like a pig. Lucy's heart raced. The Creakers didn't know she was hiding in the wardrobe, but if they did, they would surely use their magic sleeping dust on her too. Then she had an idea. In fact, the idea was dangling right over her head. Her swimming costume was on a hanger, looped around the top as if it were and looped around the top of it were her swimming goggles. She quickly reached up, stretched them overhead, protecting her eyes from any stray crumbs of dozy dust. Now let's get her rotten jacket and be taking it back to the Woleb, hissed Grunt, creaking towards Ella. The 3 other Creakers followed behind him, moving as a shadowy pack in the centre of the room. A dark glob of sliminess creeping up on Ella, who was slumped in a slumberous heap. They stretched out their claws, reaching for the grubby jacket, heading right towards the spot on the floor marked with a C, right where Lucy wanted them. That was intense, that chapter, wasn't it? Learned lots about the Creakers and learned some of their names and what they look like. Let's hope they don't come creeping into your room tonight. I'm sure they won't. Okay, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you tomorrow, ready for the next chapter, chapter 12, Grunt, Guff, Scratch and Sniff. We're going to learn all about those Creakers, and we'll see if Lucy manages to trap them, or if they snatch her. Alright, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!